Today is Juneteenth, which seems like the perfect day to talk about the first documented romance between two same-gender enslaved people in the United States, Pierce Lafayette and Felix Hall. Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. We know more about Lafayette than we do about Hall because Lafayette was enslaved by the Crypt Keeper. Alexander Stephens, the Vice President of the Confederate States of America. We have hundreds of pages of Stephens' records and correspondence, and Pierce features unusually prominently in them. Pierce was born in Georgia in 1839 and named after Methodist bishop and the first president of Wesleyan, George Foster Pierce. He didn't have a last name because most enslaved people didn't. He referred to himself as Pierce L. Stephens in written correspondence with his enslaver, but he took the last name Lafayette for himself in 1860. On September 16, 1845, when Pierce was around 6, he was sold to Stephens for $650, which would be about $27,000 today. He was a bit of a sickly child, prone to pneumonia and other lung issues, but he was one of Stephens' favorites, and at some point he was even taught to read and write. He attended to Stephens as a sort of valet. There are a lot of anecdotes about Pierce getting into trouble as he got older, mostly for stealing and fighting. In a letter dated 1860, Stephens' brother wrote of Pierce, "I believe that a rogue is incurable. Religion can't reclaim him, and nothing will break him but death. Pierce will steal as long as he lives. If he could pile up protestations and promises and oaths to the contrary, mountain high, they would all be wholly inadequate to raise a doubt in my mind as to his perseverance in roguery to the end of his life." And yet, Pierce seems to have remained one of Stephens' favorites, and he turned a blind eye to his behavior for years. Pierce was arrested, tried, jailed, even beaten by other enslavers. But there are multiple letters that describe Pierce being brought to Stephens' home after every incident. We know very little about Felix Hall except that he was enslaved by a person named Clark. But we do know that he and Pierce were in a relationship together by 1857, because in a letter dated that year, Felix Hall is referred to as Pierce Lafayette's Negro mistress. In that letter, Stephens was also blamed for Pierce coming to his, quote, speedy ruin because he allowed Pierce and Felix to be in a relationship together. We also know that Pierce and Felix tried to escape together at least once and that it led to their separation. A letter to Stephens dated March 10, 1857 reads in part, "Cobb says he does not want Pierce. He's becoming lazy and worthless. He and Felix had made arrangements for running away last Saturday night, and Clark, the owner of Felix, had a police on the watch for Felix and took him and put him in jail and sent him to Richmond for sale the next day." That's Felix, who was captured and then sent to Richmond for sale the next day. Pierce was returned to Stephens' home. After the war, both Pierce and Felix, like so many other formerly enslaved black men, settled in Washington, D.C. They weren't together as a couple anymore, but remained close friends until at least 1870, though I would guess much longer. That's it for today. As always, more information, including sources and further reading, is available in the usual place.